I noticed a massive spike in Singaporeans searching about the Malaysian ringgit this week, with everyone celebrating how much further their cash will go across the causeway. But looking closer at the actual market data, this is not a story about a ringgit surge at all.
It is exactly the opposite, Angela. For a retiree drawing income from Singapore dollar investments, any dividend income that comes from Malaysian operations is now directly shrinking in value. The ringgit has plummeted around 4% this month, hitting roughly 4.10 against the US dollar, which is its lowest level since last November. That 4% drop does not just make JB seafood cheaper, it hits your portfolio.
So while day trippers are looking at cheap seafood in JB, retail investors should probably be looking at what this slide does to their actual portfolios. And for anyone new here, Iggy runs every investment decision through a forensic checklist built around income sustainability. Iggy, what is actually happening with the currency right now, and why does it matter beyond just the JB shopping angle?
And before I get into the specifics, I want to say something about who this analysis is actually for. I am not here to push stocks or manufacture excitement about the next big name. I am here for the Singaporean who is 5 years from retirement or already in it, the one who cannot afford to chase a yield that collapses when the balance sheet cracks. The mainstream narrative treats a weak regional currency as a simple discount voucher, but a falling ringgit changes the actual value of corporate revenues earned across the border. For a retiree, that change hits your pocket directly when those ringgit get converted back to Singapore dollars for your dividends.
That makes sense, because we cannot just look at our individual spending power. If the currency is dropping that fast, does it mean the underlying Malaysian economy is facing a serious structural crisis?
Not at all, as Bank Negara Malaysia has already stepped in to signal they are ready to stabilize the market and confirm the country's economic fundamentals remain perfectly sound. This weakness is primarily a strong US dollar story, driven by market expectations that the US Federal Reserve under Kevin Walsh might hike interest rates later this year.
If the Malaysian Central Bank says everything is structurally fine, why should a dividend investor in Singapore care? If our local companies hold assets there, those assets are still standing.
They are standing, but their earnings shrink when they are converted back into our local currency. Several prominent companies on the Singapore Exchange generate significant chunks of their revenue in ringgit, which means a 4% currency drop acts as an invisible, silent drag on their total corporate profits. For a retiree relying on those dividends for daily expenses, that drag is not theoretical. It directly reduces the cash you have to spend.
Hold on, if these are solid blue chip companies with diversified income streams, can they not easily absorb a short-term currency fluctuation? A minor monthly dip should not completely derail a steady distribution.
For a short-term growth investor chasing momentum, these quarterly currency fluctuations might just be minor background noise. But if you are a retiree relying on dependable drawdown income to cover your daily expenses, a silent hit to corporate cash flows directly threatens the sustainability of those quarterly dividends. When the dividend check arrives, the amount in Singapore dollars is what matters. That is the number you actually spend.
But is this a genuine reason to start panic selling any local stock that happens to have corporate exposure across the causeway? It feels like an overreaction to a temporary macro shift.
It is absolutely a reason for close monitoring rather than blind avoidance. We need to check whether a company's cross-border revenue exposure is unhedged, because that determines whether the weakness flows straight into a distribution cut. If a company hedges its currency risk, the impact is contained. If not, your dividend is exposed.
I see what you mean about the translation risk, but it still feels a bit abstract when looking at a massive corporate balance sheet. How does this currency friction actually play out in real life for an ordinary Singaporean?
Think of it like running a popular drink stall at your neighborhood hawker center. where you sell a standard cup of kopi O for $1.50. If your regular supplier suddenly tells you that your raw coffee bean costs have shifted because of regional supply issues, your total daily sales numbers on the board might look exactly the same.
Yes, I would still see the same number of customers queuing up and paying the exact same price per cup. My gross daily collections would not look any different at first glance.
Exactly. But when you go back to calculate your actual take-home profit at the end of the month, you find that you are pocketing significantly less cash because your cost of ingredients went up. That is what unhedged cross-border revenue exposure does to an SGX-listed company when a foreign currency weakens. The operations look fine, but the final cash available to pay you as a shareholder shrinks.
So the business looks completely normal from the outside, but the actual cash available for dividends is secretly shrinking. The underlying operations have not changed, but the final value of the money has.
Spot on, Angela. The company is still collecting the same amount of ringgit from its Malaysian operations, but when that money crosses the border to be distributed to shareholders in Singapore, one Singapore dollar now commands roughly 3.20 ringgit. That exchange rate is near the highest we have seen in recent months. That means every ringgit earned in Malaysia is now worth less when it lands in your bank account as a dividend.
So if I am holding a local portfolio, how does this broader Singapore dollar strength protect my retirement savings?
A structurally strong Singapore dollar acts as a natural sanctuary that preserves your domestic purchasing power against imported inflation. When your core dividend income is anchored in a strong local currency, your real lifestyle costs remain protected, even if regional markets are experiencing volatility. Your retirement expenses are in Singapore dollars. Your income should be too.
So building a portfolio focused heavily on local Singapore domiciled income assets is actually a defensive shield. It means my retirement drawdown is not exposed to the invisible risk of foreign exchange swings.
That is the exact core of the entire framework. A retiree living in Singapore with local expenses should not be taking on unhedged currency risk just to chase a slightly higher headline yield overseas. The extra yield is not worth it if the currency move eats away your capital.
It sounds like a quiet validation for staying conservative and keeping our investment capital firmly rooted at home. So what should someone do right now if they want to check their own portfolio for this cross-border risk?
The starting point is to open the annual report of any company you currently own. You need to look directly at the geographical revenue breakdown to see exactly what percentage of group income originates from Malaysia. If that number is high and the company does not hedge, you have found a real risk to your dividend stream.
That makes a lot of sense because you cannot manage a risk if you do not even know it is there. What is the second key watch point we should keep an eye on?
Watch the upcoming corporate results commentaries very closely over the next few weeks. Look for whether management explicitly flags foreign exchange headwinds or changes their distribution guidance because of the ringgit slide. Management will usually signal trouble before the dividend cut arrives.
I will definitely be reading those notes carefully when earnings season starts. What is the final macro trigger that tells us where this currency trend is heading?
Track the next policy moves from Bank Negara Malaysia to see if their stabilization measures successfully arrest the slide, alongside any shifting interest rate signals from the US Federal Reserve. This content is produced for educational and informational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. I am a retail investor who applies forensic analysis to my own portfolio and shares that process publicly. Nothing here constitutes a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any security, and no specific target prices or personalized financial advice are offered. All data is sourced from public filings and verified sources. All investments carry risk, including the potential loss of principal, and past performance is not indicative of future results. If you are making investment decisions involving CPF, SRS, or personal capital, please conduct your own due diligence or consult a MAS licensed financial advisor before committing funds.
That is Iggy's forensic take Full breakdown is live on Substack for Iggy's elite investors, and the quick takes land on Telegram first. Links are in the description. See you in the next one.